Mind Gap Podcast.
Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin, and fuck, I hope this works tonight. We'll see. We're excited to be here, and we hope that you're seeing us. If you're not watching this, if you're not seeing this, that means something went horribly wrong.
And or horribly right.
Or horribly right. Either way. This might be a horrible show, and then because you haven't seen it, that's a good thing. Who knows?
Justin and I are trying something out technically on the side to make this hopefully more visually appealing. And if I've pulled this off for the YouTube crowd, you will see a beautiful HD Doug and HD Justin. And hopefully it will be switching back and forth between the two of us in a beautiful dance like the Black Swan movie. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's like an uplifting movie just like that movie is, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's inspirational the same way the Shawshank Redemption is inspirational.
You know what it is? You crawl through a mile of shit and come out clean on the other side. You know.
That's true. Actually, that is rather an inspirational movie.
It is.
So I guess that was.
It's funny. That used to be the movie when Jill was sad. She'd want to put it on, and when I tell people that, they'd be like, "That seems like an odd choice." And I'm like,
"That's odd." Yeah.
But at the same time, you get it because, like, yeah, shit happens, but he overcomes. You know,
he does.
He overcomes it at the end, and that's what matters.
My friend Andy Dufresne overcomes.
My friend Andy Dufresne. Boy, that was a Morgan Freeman, if I've ever heard one.
You look. I think you're going from accents to impressions now. I think you've nailed accents so much that it's just time that we got to open it up.
What if one of these days, like I do, like really hard work in the background, and I like nail an accent, and I just bust it out and blow your mind? Would that be crazy?
Oh, I would love that. I would absolutely lose my mind.
You're like, holy shit.
Oh, moving on.
Yeah. You're like, wow, that was cool. Well, let's keep on cruising, I guess.
Tens of people are going to be very impressed by that.
Like, whoa, Doug actually did something okay. Finally. How cool is that?
I'd like to start the show by doing a retraction from something we talked about last week. Not necessarily a retraction, but an amendment, we'll say. Last week we talked about remakes. And we talked about specifically Moana. And I don't know if Disney, Bob Iger may just listen to this show or watch us on YouTube. That's a possibility. Or Disney's AI is getting too good, or one of many things. Or because of the announcements, Disney Plus is just recommending Moana. But I popped on Disney Plus and Moana was in my recommendations. And I was like, all right, let me pop this on and just kind of skim through it again. And after watching it, and specifically watching the You're Welcome song, I gotta say, while I stand by, I think it's too soon to do a live action remake of this. I'm going to amend my statement and say I actually am excited to see how they do this, because the visuals in that movie are really cool. Like in that scene, in that song, how it goes from him singing on the beach to him with like a moving background. I'm just very curious to see what they're going to do visually with it. So I'm excited to see it, though I do stand with my previous statement of it's too early. So that's my amendment.
All right. Well, I just got to say, per decorum and protocol, in order to make an amendment, you have to get at least 60% approval from the elected officials on the floor. So I don't know if it's going to pass.
Okay. We'll put it to a vote in the Discord and we'll see what happens.
Ooh, looks like you just got filibustered. I'm sorry, buddy. I guess good try. Better luck next time. Yeah.
Is it Zinni? I blame Zinni.
Zinni's filibustering right now. Yeah.
God damn it. It's just meme after meme, Zinni.
Yeah. Classic. It's classic Zinni.
Just Imager after Imager.
I think it's Imager.
Is it? I thought it was Imager.
No, I just like to imagine it's called Imager.
Oh. Imager.
Imager. For the record, that meme, Ermagerd, I say so many things in that fashion all the time. Like, and I don't even realize that I'm doing it.
Do memes eventually go out of like, are we dating ourselves by referencing certain memes? Like, oh, that's the 40-year-old meme.
Oh, I mean, I saw a hilarious. That's the new like, Jesus, how old are you sort of thing, right. Where you're like, I watched this show. It's like, dude, that show's been off the air for 30 years. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, I did the Irma Gerd meme. You're like, the what? That's right. Ancient. I saw an amazing video the other day of this. It was on TikTok, and this guy was stitching it, which basically means you watch a little bit of. I'm explaining this to Justin or anyone else who doesn't know how TikTok works. Someone like basically posts a video, and then you get to watch a clip of it, and then they stitch themselves on it as like a separate video, like responding to it. And this girl goes, "What if people just had a phone?" Like a cell phone that just stays in the house. Have you seen this?
I've seen this on Insta. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and it just stays in the house and doesn't go where. And this guy goes, "Oh my God, she just described a landline. Oh my God, she's describing a house phone. How old am I? How old am I? She's describing a house phone. Like we've come full circle. Dear God."
When I saw that was one of those where I was like, "There's no way." There's no way someone doesn't know what that is, right? Like but then I started thinking, I'm like, name the people who have a house phone. Like my mom and dad and my aunts, uncles, like it's all people of a certain generation. I don't know anyone our age. I'm trying to think. I can confidently say I know no one our age that has a landline.
Do you remember the last time you lived in a place that had a landline?
But it had to be when I was it must have been Blackhawk College, 2002 to 2004 when I was living with my dad.
I think the last time I had a landline may have been my first apartment in Chicago.
Oh, you had your, like, in your name?
I want to say I think I had that then. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. There was definitely a time where I feel like I had one because I got a call from the Fraternal Order of Police because the person who had that apartment before us was a bit of a rabble rouser. I know this because a bounty hunter showed up at our door.
What? I'm sorry. You're going to have to rewind and tell that story. What?
So we get a knock at the door, and I answer the door like shirtless because that's just how I used to roll. And they were like, "Yeah, we're looking for so and so," and it was like a dude with like a tactical vest. It wasn't a cop. And they're like, "I'm looking for so and so," and I about shit my pants. I was like, "They don't live here." They're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "We get like a lot of calls for them, and we get their mail, but they don't live here. I promise." And they're like, "Okay," and they walked away, and I was like, "Oh." Woo! Someone's got something going on from. So I remember in that apartment, I got a call from the Fraternal Order of Police, and they're like they were pitching me over the phone, and
for a donation or something.
They got me to agree to do a pledge, and I was
agreed to it.
I didn't know how to handle the situation. I was like,
shit. How old were you?
Dude, I was like 21, 22.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
And I was just like, huh? They're like, "We want to know if you'll pledge." I was like, "Sure." I didn't really know what that meant. And he's like, "How much are you willing to pledge?" And I was like, He's like, $20. I'm like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "We'll send you some stuff." And like, he sent us like bumper stickers and things like that. And they kept calling, and I never paid it. And I was terrified that this was going to I was going to get in huge trouble. Like as soon as the bumper stickers came, I threw them away. Like I never told Jill or anything. And they would be calling to I was just like, I just hang up on them or whatever. I was so nervous.
I'd like to think that bounty hunter is out there somewhere looking for you now, but they're just so bad that they can't find you.
Yeah.
He's like, "You 20 years ago, you promised the Fraternal Order of Police $20 fucking.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm glad I never gave it to him.
I get those robocalls now, and it's. I love when they try to. I was just looking for my phone to hold it up, and I'm like, "That's right fucking here,
right there."
This is tough.
It is tough.
I get those, and I love how the links they go to make it sound like it's a real person on these robocalls, and they're like, "Yeah, can we count on your one-time donation for this and this and this?" And it's. I would love to get someone because I'd love to actually engage them in a debate but
well, you're good at that stuff. You've always enjoyed that sort of stuff. So
I love, man, when I get an actual person, it's just yum.
You know what's going to happen is at some point AI is going to get so goddamn good.
Oh no,
that you're not even going to be able to tell.
You're right.
This is going to be like, "Hi, Justin. This is Joe Biden, and I would like you." You're like, "What? Huh?
What? Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, that dude. The scams.
We'll have a conversation.
The scams that are going to come along with that are going to be brutal when they can AI that, and someone's going to be like,
Jeez,
"The mayor called me."
Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
They're already doing phishing now with like texts, right? Where people fall for it all the time. Like, "Hey, I'm the CEO of your company. Can you go buy me $500 in Apple gift cards?"
Okay.
And they do it. And it happens. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what's more terrifying is what AI can generate. Now, we listen, if you're tired of us talking about AI, get over it, because AI is coming for you whether you like it or not. So AI is out there just saying, I'm going to come. So get ready.
There you go. Speaking of AI, Doug can make Trump say that anytime he wants.
Anytime I want. There we go. That's more of an audio drop, but I don't know if that's AI. It's just technology. That's just zeros and ones, Justin. I still don't know.
We've talked about it many times, and I have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, just recently, someone I've seen 2 of these now, where people have put together some AI-generated commercials, and these are wild. These are the things that nightmares are made of. Yeah, these are super duper wild. I'm going to adjust this real quick here.
So the first one that you guys are going to see here, if you're watching this, is the AI generated pizza commercial.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you won't be able to hear the audio for it because some of the audio on this is probably copyrighted, so I'm not going to mess with it.
Yeah. We don't want it. Yeah.
But visually you can see it and everything like that, and it'll be interesting. So I'm gonna swap us over here to Twitter. This comes from the handle I just closed out at Dan Oliver, and he says this whole advert was created using AI. The script was generated by GPT-4, images by Midjourney, video clips by Runway Gen 2, VO by 11 Labs, and music by Sound Raw AI Music. And the result is fucking terrifying. So,
and it is.
For those that are listening, we'll kind of describe what we're seeing. So you see, it's a pizza commercial. It's called For the Pepperoni Hug Spot, and you get some images of a guy that apparently has like flour going into his arm. You have like someone who's trying to. Honestly, you can't even describe this as it's happening because the people are so strange. As they're trying to eat, that's the worst because AI doesn't understand how people eat. Yeah, it looks like something out of a David Lynch film, and it's pretty terrifying. Out of a David Lynch film. Yeah, that's like great. The opening where the kid's like trying to eat, and he's just like the pizza's just going into his teeth. Yeah, the guy with the flour coming out of his forearm. Everything like I would say 80% of the seconds. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, the delivery driver. Yeah, the delivery driver. Look at his eyes; those are horrifying. Well, that's the other thing too is AI cannot quite get the eyes right at all for this sort of stuff. Terrifying. I love it. Need delivery. Honestly, the voiceover for this is pretty solid. I'll say that much. It's pretty solid. The music is pretty solid. The script is not bad. What AI is right now is it's 80% of the way there. I think visually we're maybe 60%. Yeah. Maybe 50. Because it's pretty darn like it captures a lot of the stuff. But even like when the pizza delivery guy tries to leave, it looks like he's going through a wall. And then of course you get this woman who's eating a plate. Yeah. The next woman eating the taco pizza. Oh God, that face. Oh, those teeth. Look at those teeth, dude. They look like mandibles. But the opening, if you stop at 21 seconds, like the first frame that it clicks over to her, this looks like something out of like some horror movie. Like it's just, like a creature that it looks like Pennywise from It that's about ready to devour a child. Absolutely. And that pizza almost looks like a taco too, which is also weird. And then the next woman looks almost like AI tried to recreate June Diane Raphael. Yeah. Like they're like, this is what she might look like if her face was getting sucked into a pizza black hole. I love the name of the place, Pepperoni Hug Spot. Oh God. Right. And then you go to like the family and of course the eyes immediately are just the pizza in the lower left almost looks like waffles with like berries.
It so is.
This is totally
like
waffles. This is totally
like
waffles.
Family?
It's not. Oh, and then watch the girl on the right as she tries to take a bite. It just goes into her chin, and she's like, "Wink." Ugh, awful.
I love the tagline, like family, but with more cheese.
Because there's also a part here where like they're showing the pizza getting made. It's like at like 12 seconds. It looks like this guy's grinding something into the pizza.
Yeah,
it's so strange.
And the voiceover at that point also says, with cheese, pepperoni, vegetables, and more secret things.
Not vegetables, vegetable. Singular.
Vegetable. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things.
And more secret things.
Yeah, I don't know what he's supposed to be. Oh, you know what it is? He's cutting the pizza.
Oh, okay, because there's a knife there?
I think he's supposed to be slicing.
Okay, so what does he have in his hand? Is that cheese? It kind of looks like.
No, I think he's supposed to be holding like a pizza roller, but it's fucking up what the.
Because what's unsettling is it looks like there's a knife on the lower right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's supposed to be a pizza cutter, but the AI couldn't figure out how
to. But then
to.
what's in the other hand? It looks like he's holding ice cream that's melting, and he's like pushing it into the pizza.
I think that's what I'm saying is I think that's supposed to be the handle of the pizza cutter.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's just kind of all melded together. But you know what? Who fucking knows, man? We don't know.
No one will ever know.
No one will ever know. I strongly recommend anyone who wants to not sleep, find this yourself, watch it, and then listen to the voiceover.
Yeah.
Because to Doug's point, it's nonsensical, but it sounds like a pizza commercial.
It's 80% of the way there as an entirety, where you're like, oh shit, I see where this is going. You can see how this is going to become the norm, where people are going to once AI this, and I said this to Justin yesterday, and I'm not the only person that said this. That this is the worst AI is going to be in this moment. It's only going to get better from here.
When you said that was an eye-opening moment for me, because we were talking about how just terrible this was, and you're like, think about it though. This is the worst it'll ever be. I'm like, fuck. I never considered that. It's a fair point.
Imagine 10 years ago, we were saying, hey, listen, computers are going to essentially create commercials, voiceover, music, scripts,
right?
Images all on their own, and we're gonna be like, what? What is this? No. Some sort of fucking. Is this Skynet? And we're like, we don't know yet. we haven't figured it out yet if it is or not.
It's a fair question. We don't know.
All right. Now there's another one that I just saw today. This one comes from the handle on Twitter, Only Bangers ETH, which I have to assume stands for Ethereum. Oh God, is there another one below that? No.
Yeah, there is.
Oh my God, there's another one?
It's a movie trailer for the Great Catsby.
Oh my God. All right.
And feline. The voiceover says with feline intrigue. I watched it before you jumped on.
This one looks really legit too. Okay, maybe we'll watch both of these. Okay. So we're gonna start here with, this is the beer commercial. All right. Now this, obviously, even if we wanted to, we wouldn't play the audio because it's got Smash Mouth's All-Star in this, and it is, we wouldn't be able to play it. But some things that you see, we'll just kind of play it through. Oh God, there you go. I was like, oh my God, how's it coming through? You've got a floating beer.
0.7 seconds.
You got people like that, just their proportions are strange. People, again, AI doesn't understand how people eat or drink or consume things. Oh my God. There's so much happening here. We're going to try and take it bit by bit, but people are on fire. Like, there's explosions. The other thing AI doesn't know how to do is words. It doesn't understand that if you're like, hey, write this out, it's like it jumbles it up. It comes through like as a different message.
Yeah.
So as we're going through this here, we can kind of see like the people that are like laughing, they're laughing extremely strangely. Their mouths don't seem to match what's going on. Eyes, of course, as before, are strange. People are holding glasses. Again, this is where it's like the 80% of the way. They're like at 4 seconds. The woman that's holding the beer on the right, she's not holding it correctly because that thing is barely in her grip.
Right.
And as it goes by quickly, you're like, oh, that's not that big a deal. As you like look at this closely, you're like, this is fucked up. Like, there's no way that this is natural. She's like, okay. She's holding on to that. The girl next to her is like, yeah, weird eyes. And then the next girl has, how many fingers do you see on this thing, man? This blonde chick.
I need to.
We're at 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5.
5
6,
seconds in.
7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 fingers with one hand holding this jar.
Oh. Here we go. 5 seconds in. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a Snapple bottle, like a see-through Snapple bottle. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think that's 10. It's you know what it is? It's a hand with 5 fingers on each side.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very strange. And then you've got the proportions at like 6 seconds seem weird. Yeah. Like
very, very odd.
Woman has very short arms. And then you got this other girl that's like, yes. And then at 8 seconds, you've got this floating beer bottle.
Wait, like this dude's having a full again, he's drinking Snapple and he's talking to the floating beer bottle.
Yes.
That looks like it looks like it's got the New York Rangers logo on it.
It's so strange. Yeah, because it looks like he's drinking tea.
Yeah.
And then like we go to 9 seconds, there's like a fire kind of happening in the background. There's like fire on the table on the lower left, and then in the background, kind of like there's just like a fire. Something's burning. We don't know what. And then we move along. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Again, too many fingers on the can. There's also a second hand just out of nowhere.
Look at the visor.
Right?
Oh, she's wearing that. But yeah, I do love how that other hand just kind of comes up.
It's like, where's that other person? You know what I mean? Again, way too many fingers.
Right.
These cans are huge, by the way. These are totally American cans.
Yeah.
Okay, we got, again, more strange people. Oh, God, proportions are odd.
12 seconds, it looks like it's a mix between a can. It looks like she's holding a bottle of Bombay gin.
Yeah. Again, too many fingers.
Yeah.
People are dancing. And then you get to 13 seconds, you get this guy that tries to drink. Like someone's trying to drink. He's like licking the foam, kind of.
Right.
It's extremely upsetting.
But then does he end up with? He ends up with sunglasses on. Take it frame by frame.
Oh my God, he does.
Like,
oh my God, he does.
And then this next guy is either, again, way too many fingers.
Yeah, right.
And he's either singing or, yeah, he's singing. Oh my God, I'm sorry, the guy.
Yeah.
There's too much going on, right? Man.
What's up, Moon? Moon, welcome to our nightmare show.
There's too much happening. And then at 15, the dude's just.
He's like somehow sucking light. I don't know. Oh, that's so strange. And then at 16 seconds, I don't know. That's just a weird can. It's like that. There's like a spoon coming out.
But then it just disappears. It's almost like a straw. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're dancing. No big deal.
With
and then
more
fires.
Fire.
And then you got cool shot. And then you got this girl making out with.
Oh, she's into it.
With RC Cola. And then you got this guy who's got like a weird contraption.
That is like the ultimate beer bong is what that is.
This is like a college kid's wet dream right here, you know?
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going streaking.
And then at 20 seconds, we have the Inferno.
This is where it just turns. Like it was weird already, but then it turns into
because what is that guy on the right holding? Is he holding a camera? Is that a beer? Where's the Inferno coming from?
Right.
Where's it going? It looks like someone's inhaling it, and then like there's kind of like fire coming out of the beer, but not really. Seth goes, yeah, this is my jam. And you got this guy who's got his face is way too big for this giant can. It's like, I don't know, it's so disproportionate. And then you got this guy at 23 seconds.
Well, also look at his look at how the arm goes into the hand. The guy at the
yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Oh God.
And then 23, 24 again, infinite number of fingers. And a gigantic forearm. Look at that forearm, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boom.
And then you got Inferno with people dancing in the fire.
Yep.
25 seconds as a guy. Jesus.
Drinking a beer upside down by the butt of the bottle.
Yeah.
But then the one after that looks like a clip from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It does.
Like
pew, pew, pew.
Like this is, I fully expect to see this in the next James Gunn movie.
And then 27.
They're sharing.
Two guys sharing a beer.
They're Lady and the Tramping it.
Yeah. They're just like, nom. And then at 29 seconds, it's just like pure and fire inferno.
Hellfire. Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, it's the name of this. So.
Erico Fendale.
Yeah.
Fennel Day.
So there's that one. And then again, we won't be able to hear this.
Oh,
but I want to watch. I don't want to spend too much more time with this because I think we get the point. This one looks interesting, though. Like, this is an AI generated
it gets
movie
worse.
trailer.
As it goes on, it gets worse. Trust me. It's also a minute.
Again,
30,
okay, hold on. We're going to go back.
Stories.
Look at these fingers. Look at these fingies here. These fingers at, here we are. Oh, God, the proportions are just off-putting. At 7 seconds, the one on the right, all the fingers are curled in together.
Yeah.
That looks horrifying.
Yep.
Not too bad. We're playing. All right, that girl looks horrifying. Again, the hands, man. The hands are weird. We're drinking fire from a cup. We're in a fancy place. These are some pretty good shots, though, I have to say. Like,
yeah.
Unsettling when you take a close look at them.
Yeah. For those listening too, we strongly recommend you go search these out because you're definitely going to want to see what we are describing very poorly. In fairness, but
I think we're doing an accurate job. You just don't understand the insane visuals that we're seeing.
Yeah,
I think what would be really awful.
My favorite is at 29 seconds when out of nowhere there are fancy cats that come in.
Yes, that is strange. Dude, you know what would be absolutely horrifying right now?
What's that?
This current AI, but porn.
Oh, no. I don't like that.
How unsettling would that be, dude? Like, that would be... They're like, all right, because you know that exists. You know that exists already.
It has to. There's no doubt in my mind it has. Yeah.
Well, hold on. That's just a big old leg and the kitty cat.
Yeah.
And then, these faces. I gotta say though, man, the quality, like all right, that smile. Oh, so this is like supposed to be like, like you said, it's the Great Gatsby.
Yeah, it's called the Great Catsby.
The Great Catsby. Wow.
I don't have a subscription to the New York Times, but there was an article that was shared in my 9 to 5 today because it has to do with advertising and AI and what's coming down the pike. And it says the godfather of AI leaves Google and warns of danger ahead. For a half century, Geoffrey Hinton nurtured the technology at the heart of chatbots like ChatGPT. Now he worries it will cause serious harm. And I would love to get access to this article. It just worked. You know, when you reload it and you hit stop and you sometimes get it. All right, I've got the article. I'm not going to read it now. It's a very long article, but I do think it's interesting that even people who were behind the genesis of AI are saying like, "Hey guys, let's pump the brakes a little bit," because it goes back to the Jurassic Park quote, right? Just because we so focused on if we could, we didn't think if we should.
Yeah,
this is just getting a little. You and I talked about this a few weeks ago. We're running a little rampant right now. Like it's kind of we're trying to see how far can we push this, how fast can we push it, and I do think that we're setting ourselves up for a potential issue.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Seth said, he wanted to make a note that though AI's competency with boobs over fingies is well worth noting. So, which by the way, I'm sure is by design. I'm sure they're like, we'll work on the fingers, but really, let's get the real important stuff first.
Let's get what we need, and then we'll move on to the rest.
Yeah. I find this stuff fascinating. I think it's interesting. We're obviously not at a point where what'll be terrifying is when you can't tell the difference. We can't tell the difference between an AI generated piece of content versus an actual other one. And the idea that when you first told me about Midjourney, and you went in there and you're like, oh my God, I can see what everyone else is searching for. And the first thing I saw was someone putting in a very detailed description, probably had about, 30 keywords about something with Christina Hendricks. And they were trying to get like images of her just like, it was very unsettling to the point where we're like, all right, I got what I needed. I'm leaving this Discord server now. I don't want to see this anymore. Cause I'm like, I don't want to see what these guys are jerking off to. Cause they were going for it like hard, man. They were trying really, really hard.
There's a lot of prompts that they were trying to refine it. And that's the terrifying thing too, is that there's always been, I feel like that it's in essence, an invasion of privacy. Like if you can start generating really good looking content that is like hard to differentiate between what's real and what's fake, and you can just start, putting anyone's face on anyone's, you can basically make whatever. There's a danger there. I feel like, as far as privacy, as far as what your rights are, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, it's upsetting because I know some of that stuff already exists. I know there was a Twitch streamer who got called out for basically, he had an AI porn site that basically created AI versions of like some Twitch streamers, girls, and they basically created porn out of it, and that stuff exists. Unfortunately, and there's a market for it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, anytime we have a new emergent technology, the joke is how long until we make a fuckable version of that thing. Yeah. And it's an internet joke, but it's also a joke. It's a Rule 34 meets, we're always going to use technology for, gross, nefarious things. And it's true. It sucks, but it's very true about our society.
It's funny because it's true. Well, I've said this before. I'll say it again. One of my favorite Robot Chicken, like little sketches, it's just, if you're not familiar with Robot Chicken, it was a show on Adult Swim. It was like a 15-minute show, and it just had like a series of like short little sketches.
Or blackouts.
One of them was a guy goes, "Behold, the robot that will change the world." And someone raises their hand. He's like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Can you fuck it?" The guy's like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Can you fuck it?" And he's like, "No," and then everyone goes, "Ah!" Just leaves the press conference. And I was like, it was always just like spot on. Like that one always caught me, where I was like, that's exactly where we are. It's the very first thing that we go to. And the thing is, like, that stuff's created and no one really says anything, and then eventually everyone accepts it and we're like, hey, this thing exists now,
Right. Seth says, I mean, to be fair, it isn't the first. The rush to make porn out of BioShock Infinite's character Elizabeth produced huge advantages in 3D rendering technology. Oh wow, this comment was for content that happened like 3 minutes ago. Yeah,
yeah, my internet sucks tonight, gang. I'm really sorry.
To that end, though, that's very true. But I think the point being is that this is able to replicate, like, 3D rendering technology is one thing, and a BioShock character is one thing. But when you're generating lifelike images of Christina Hendricks in compromising positions, that's a whole different level of, you know what I mean? If it looks like a cartoon, that's one thing. It's not great. But if it starts to look just like the person and you can't tell the difference, you could easily be swayed to think that this person is in this video or is in this, a picture of them in this position, has been leaked or whatever it is. That's, I don't know. There's an element of, you're dipping into a whole realm of privacy and invasion of privacy that just, again, it feels gross. It just feels really gross.
Well, it really what it is, I have a feeling I'll never have to worry about that. I don't think everyone's going to be like, I can't wait to see Doug, just doing sex stuff. And, the percentage of people that want to see that's pretty small. So I don't worry about
though, Doug. They're
whatever.
There.
Hey, man, it's a long tail theory. You go long enough, there's something for everybody, all right? But I imagine, to those sorts of people who deal with just harassment on a daily basis for being a woman and existing, let alone existing on a platform where, people get a lot of views, that has to feel incredibly unsettling to know that there's people out there that are creating images of you without your consent, doing, sexual acts, and be like, hey, that's not who I am. I didn't authorize that. It's just, right. It's really gross. It's really upsetting, to say the least. So
yes.
Seth goes, me now needing to make sure Doug has to worry about this. Oh, good.
Don't wish it. Don't say it on the podcast,
Yeah.
Doug, lest it become true.
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time, you know?
Really good time. Yeah, I'll take you up on that offer all day. Well, I think that's this AI getting better and progressing to the point where you can't tell it's AI anymore is part of what the Writers Guild of America is striking for right now. If you guys haven't heard, they are officially on strike as of 12:01 this morning that we're recording Tuesday. What is it, May 2nd? A lot of what the strike has to do with is the deals regarding shows that they're writing on for streaming platforms, because the streamers are saying that we're still not sure how successful or how much revenue we're going to get out of this, and so we really can't put the cart before the horse and give a lot of money because we don't blah 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 blah. When Netflix is pulling in like $2 billion for, I think, Q1 or some astronomical amount of money. It was ridiculous. So the writers are like, look, you guys are making plenty of money on these streaming platforms. Also, I heard one writer talk about it today, and he made a good point. He goes, writing should not be a gig economy. Like we would get on a show and it would run on network shows. You'd have a job for at least a year. If the show didn't get canceled, you had a job for multiple years. But now, because shows are 8 to 13 episodes, he goes, you might have a job for 2 months and then you're out of a job again. And he's like, if you want good quality shows, writing can't be a gig economy. You have to have writers that are being compensated, that have, basically you want professionals to do this. And you also want ways for younger writers to get in and work their way up. If you just have these quick bursts of work and everyone's scrambling for them, it's just not conducive. It's not conducive to making better content, which is people are addicted to this content. Another thing he talked about, which I thought was interesting, is he brought up the fact that when you go to watch a show, he goes, very few people, if any, are brand loyal. I only watch shows on Disney Plus. I only watch shows on Netflix. I only watch, he goes, they don't care no one cares what streamer is carrying the show. People are into the show, and the show is there because someone wrote it. That's the foundational block of a show, is the writers. And so he was saying that these platforms wouldn't be Netflix wouldn't be Netflix if it didn't have the writers behind House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, name any number of shows that's on there. So Sesame Street is a huge one that Netflix created, and really does a good job with the writing. They've won a few Emmys for the writing. Netflix has. So that's a big part of this strike. Another thing is what's called mini rooms, and I've never heard of this until the strike. But mini rooms they'll get rooms together of like 3 to 4 writers to break 2 or 3 episodes of a show in order to figure out if they want to pick the show up. A network will, or a streamer will. And what's detrimental to this is that a lot of the times that the show does get picked up, those writers don't get to stay on. They're there for literally like a week to break 3 episodes, and then they're done. And so there's no consistency. And they're getting paid scale. So they're not getting actually paid like a true like living wage. And during that time, they're not allowed to accept other jobs. So they're locked into contracts with this mini room, and it's just fucked up. And then one of the last big pieces is they do want stopgaps put, or I'm blanking on the word, but they want assurances put into place that AI is not going to become a problem for the writers. So let's say AI comes up with an idea, and then a writer writes an episode based off that. They don't want to see like, well, you're not going to get as many residuals or as much residuals because AI came up with the idea, or AI wrote the base script, you just punched it up, so you really don't get a writing credit on it. So because AI is really starting to come up, they're getting far ahead of it and saying, look, it's in its infancy, but we can see this becoming a problem, and we want you to guarantee us that this is not going to affect our livelihood and our creativity. And so there's a lot of stuff on the table, and I just thought it was interesting that they were including AI in in the list of requests that they had. I think it's smart on their part to do that, quite frankly.
I think it's interesting. I think I'll be honest with you. I struggle a little bit with unions because I had a bad experience with them. I worked for 6 years at a hotel, and there were unions with housekeeping, which, for the record, I'm glad that there are, because my hotel was run by like a bunch of assholes, and undoubtedly they would take advantage of people, and they did. But on the flip side of that, I'm also a practical person. You may have heard of this. And what I don't like is a lot of red tape around things that should just be. See, the thing is, I want to. Here's the thing: unions are important. They're very, very important.
It's a tough conversation to have. Yeah.
Where I struggle with are the things that just are practical. Like, for example, hey, I need someone to go clean this room. Well, all the housekeepers are gone for the day. Well, can you do it? No. My job is to fold towels. That's what my contract says. I'm not allowed to do that. If you want me to do that, you need to call my union rep, and I need to get paid more. And I'm like, we don't have time for that. We're sold out tonight. When you get this room clean, he's like, well, I can't help you. Like that sort of like red tape infuriates me. Sure. But because of how bad things are with abusing work and laborers, we have to get that into the minutia of that so that people are protected. So I struggle with that because I don't want people having to clean 30 rooms a day for shit pay. You know what I mean? Like, that's not fair. But to have someone negotiate down how much work they get to do for the day to get paid, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, it just seems like this weird push and pull a lot of times. Sure. But I've also seen, like, it's incredibly important. I mean, especially in the entertainment industry. I mean, these people get used and abused like nobody's business. Oh, absolutely. And, some of the things, I saw that in here, like, I think the average pay has gone down like 4%, which if you adjust for inflation is like 24%. Like, it's huge. Like the amount of pay that people are losing, which is not cool. You don't want that. And I think the idea that the landscape has changed from your traditional like 22 episode seasons to like your 10, 12, seasons. That's something that should be, absolutely accounted for and negotiated for. Pay should obviously be there because these are the people that are out there doing the work to create this content, Right. I can't do it. Right. And the people that it just sucks when you know that these streamers and these organizations, some other talent are actors' pay is going up, productions pay is going up, the other companies' pay is going up, but the writers, they're getting hosed on that, and that sucks. That absolutely sucks. And I think they should absolutely be bargaining for the best they can get. I did see something from NBC News where it says the main sticking points, according to the entertainment giants, include union proposals that will require companies to staff television shows with a certain number of writers for a specific period of time, whether needed or not. That's where I'm like...
That's where it gets interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where like that sort of stuff, like I read that paragraph and I immediately was like... I went back to 2006 to 2012 when I was working in that hotel, and I was like, it's like McCormick Center in Chicago, just very union center where it's like you go in there, you're like, hey, I'm setting up, I need to plug this thing in. I'm like, sorry, you need to get 2 union guys and a supervisor for you to plug that in because this whole facility is run by unions.
We were shooting there way back in I think it was 2011. I was shooting there with a company that I was working with, and it was the McCormick or the Stevenson Convention Center, and it doesn't matter which one it was. We were there, we were filming something, and I said we needed to plug something in, and they had to radio down. I couldn't just physically plug something into the wall. They had to radio down and get. I want to say it was an electrician to come down and do that, but I was like, holy shit, like that's wild. Like I didn't, and I come from a union family. Like my dad was in the firefighters union. My mom was in the teachers union. I am very pro union, but at the same time, I do know that there can be overcorrections quite a bit. I think, I understand. I am pro union. I understand the need for them. And I eventually, I have been part of unions. I was a Teamster for a while when I worked at UPS. I would love to be part of one of the, the DGA or the WGA down the line at some point. I would love to be a part of one of those, but I do understand from the flip side how it can be very hard when you're not in it. It can be very hard to see why people are asking for certain things. And you're like, well, you're just being whiny. You're just being kind of a bitch about this.
No.
And it's like, but you're not in it. Like if you were in it, you were seeing on a daily basis and all the minutiae and the little details, you're like, there's a reason we're asking for this. Or there's a reason we're asking for more because they're going to come back with a counter and we're going to meet in the middle somewhere. So we need to go super far this way because they're going to go this way. And then we'll find a middle ground that's amenable to everybody,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I think unions are absolutely important, and I'm glad they exist. And I think you can appreciate and respect unions and also be able to give constructive feedback to it as well.
100%, yeah. Well, I think a very important recent thing was for the IATSE union, which is basically it covers everyone else that's not a director, a writer, or an actor. It's the camera people, it's the grips, the gaffers, the best boys. It's everyone else on set basically. And they, after there had been horrendous story after story after story of people having to work like 16-hour days. And then you would end at like midnight and you'd have to turn around and be back for 5 a.m. shoot. And your trip to your hotel was a half hour each way. So there's another hour and people were getting in car accidents because they were tired and they couldn't keep their eyes open. It was like horrendous working conditions. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand about the film industry is that because so much money is being put into these films, the producers and the studios at the very top levels are sometimes they're going to want to wring every last bit out of their crew to get things done on time and under budget. And sometimes that's at the sacrifice of the people who are working really fucking hard, who are people. At the end of the day, they got families. All they're trying to do is they're trying to put milk in the fridge and food on the table, And it's so when you hear about that, you see why they're like, hey, don't make us work 16-hour days. Or if you do, there needs to be a minimum of a 12-hour turnaround time in between, or something like those kind of minimums. So that's kind of a look at like how bad things can get if certain things aren't kept in check,
Yeah. No, yeah. I totally agree with that. Again, that's where I think the unions are incredibly important because like those kind of working conditions are awful and they get paid shit. I mean, let's face it, a lot of those. Yeah. And when you hear that these movies are making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
And you're
$1 billion. Yeah.
Like, I get paid jack shit and you need me. You know what I mean? You need me to do my job. And then, but at the same time, they're like, well, if you won't do it, we'll find someone who will.
Right.
And they're not wrong. But at the same time, it's like, this is why you need unions to help bargain for that shit because, and that's why strikes need to happen. And people need these better conditions because that's the kind of shit. You're absolutely right. The people like those studios and whatever that have a lot of that money, they're going to use their power to get what they want. And they're the ones that reap the benefits. Yes, they are risking for it, but there should be more equal share along the way. I'm very much in line with that.
They're risking, but people shouldn't be needing to risk their lives for. Now, again, we're talking the writers aren't risking their lives with, it's sitting in it's a little different story there than with the IATSE union. But, I think another misconception is how much money a lot of people make in the industry when you say, oh, I'm a writer. And it's like, oh, you must be flush with you just sit in your computer and you write for a couple hours and you go get some coffee. Like, no, a lot of these people are sitting down for 12 hours and they're banging out. And it's not like if you're working on a sitcom, a lot of it's not fun because you're just banging out. You're all right, what joke's better? You're hearing the same joke pitched different ways, for 3 hours. It's not fun. It actually is a grind. And you're making, you might be making a little bit more than like quote unquote average, but a lot of people in the entertainment industry are making ends meet. It's not everyone in the entertainment business flush with cash. A lot of them are making maybe 30, 40 grand a year, like if they're lucky. And then if they don't get on a gig, if they don't get on a show or a movie, then it's feast or famine, you know, a lot of residual checks. People think residuals, they're coming in, they're raking in cash. And they don't have to do anything. A lot of, again, There's a guy online on Instagram. I sent it to you and Seth today. His name's Michael Jamin. I would say go check him out. He does a lot of people will ask him questions about the industry. He's a writer and he will give honest answers, and he'll just kind of like, yeah, here's the inside baseball on it. And when he gets residual checks each month, he opens them up and he'll read and he'll show you. He's like, all right, so here's the residual check when I worked on Just Shoot Me. That's for $7.89. Here's a residual check I got when I worked on this, this, and this. And some of them are for like $1,000 and some of them are for like $6. You know,
he doesn't know what he's going to get.
He doesn't know what he's going to get. And it all depends on, was he the writer that was credited as like written by, or did he just kind of work in the background on the show? It's a whole bunch of different stuff. So again, a lot of people aren't making bank. They're not making the kind of bank you think they're making. So these negotiations they can be very important.
Not to mention that also has to be taxed, that income. So
right. Yeah,
if you're thinking about that. And also, writing, you gotta put stuff together, and then you gotta take notes. You gotta get notes.
Right.
You gotta apply the notes. Maybe not. You gotta figure that sounds like a nightmare. That would be, listen, I think my worst nightmare would be driving like a long haul, like semi truck. I would absolutely despise every second of that. I would hate that. I think another close, like up there, sales. I think I would be terrible at sales. I'd be one of the worst salesmen. And then third, I think being a writer would not be fun for me at all, because I think it's so difficult to put that stuff together and to crank that out for your living. Like, I respect anyone that can do that. That's so impressive to me, for anyone that can actually do that, put that together. That's super impressive. And it's hard to value those jobs, especially the creative world. You know what I mean? Like, how do you value something like a podcast producer? You know what I mean? Right. Like, what's the value on that? You know, I was listening to
what is the right label or the price tag to put on that?
I was listening to a podcast the other day. It's called Are You Garbage? And it's essentially two comedians bring other comedians on, and they ask them questions about their life, and at the end of it, they decide whether or not they're garbage or they're classy. And Tom Segura was on there, and they asked him, what's the most you've ever spent on dinner? And Tom's like, I don't know if I should say. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want that out there. They're like, well, will you write it down? He was like, yeah, I'll write it down. He wrote it down and slid over to him, and they're like, Jesus fucking Christ. It was $52,000.
They finally said it?
Yeah, $52,000. And the producer goes, that's more than I made last year. Like, the producer for the show was more. Tom spent, now to be fair, also let's put some context for that. He rented out the entire restaurant, shut it down just for him and his folks, and that did include tip apparently too. So that's good. Okay. So
I want to know what the meal was that they had that was, because I can't imagine dropping that kind of coin. I'm sure when you have the money, it's different, but at this point in my life, I look at that, I'm like, what?
I think the majority of it was shutting, basically saying, we don't want anyone else in this restaurant. So we're going to rent it out for whatever. And the restaurant's like, okay, so
it's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, hearing the producer go, that's more than I made last year. I was like, fucking hell, you know, like it's like when I was a music supervisor and trying to get people, I'm like, hey, we want to use this, you know, this song. And they're like, one person's like $5,000 and for the publisher, and then on the master recording side, they're like, Sony's like $20,000. I'm like, what?
Right.
How the hell did you come up with that?
And the publisher's like, what did Sony say?
That's exactly what they do. They have some clause, I forget what it's called, but it means that if the other side, because you need both sides, both the publishing and the masters you have to get them both or use the song. So if one goes higher, they're like, well, then I have a clause that says if they go higher, I get the same thing.
Right.
And the publisher for this, it was for like a blues song, a rather obscure one. And the publishers, it was like the people that owned it were a college in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. They offered $5,000. Sony's like $20,000. They're like, well, we want that too. I'm like, listen, how many times have you sold the rights to use this song? And they're like, no. I go, you can take 5.
Right.
Or you could take 0. How about that? And they're like, we'll take 5. I'm like, thank you. Like, that was the only time that worked. I wasn't going to argue with Sony. I was like, what am I going to do with Sony? But these guys, I'm like, hey, just take your $5,000 and get the fuck out of here. I paid $25,000. I didn't, but and negotiate $25,000 for a song that was used like, it was a prominently used song,
Jesus.
And then it's
That's
like, hey,
wild.
we want to use it in the trailer. Like, that's going to be more. And like, we had to negotiate more for the trailer because it's a separate use of all that. But it's like how you value these things and these creative efforts. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Part of it's probably the demand, like part of it's also because the other thing they'll do too is they'll be like, what's your budget for the film?
I love that.
And then they'll do a percentage of the budget of the film to be like, all right, well, if it's this, then if it's several million, they're like, all right, cool. Then we want, whatever.
Yeah.
And if it's like an indie film, they're like, all right, they'll scale it accordingly. But I'm like, I don't know, man. It's such a weird way to value that stuff. And sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's not. So this is why this stuff's, we need it. I think it's every 3 years they negotiate this. It's unique, especially with things like AI. AI is knocking on the door, and we just watched these commercials that people made that are like, again, this is the worst it's ever going to get.
Yep,
y'all didn't get to hear the script of the voiceover, but it ain't bad. All right, it's not great.
Right. Not great,
but it ain't bad.
Yeah, I've heard. I'll put it this way: I've heard worse things.
Yeah, from real people, and also AI. But it's one of those things where it's this is coming, and I think they are wise to talk about it because,
for sure,
knowing how people are, hey, if you can produce a commercial by using 4 or 5 different AI sites right now for a fraction of the cost of hiring people to do it, then for sure these folks are going to do it. So
what I'll be interested to see is because the Directors Guild is next, and then SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Guild, is after that. And so, and that's all happening before the end of June or July, I think. All of like the DGA starts, I think, May 19th, and the SAG starts June 1st for negotiations. So I'll be very curious to see what happens. Like, do they also put in stuff that talks about AI? Because none of the people, none of the horror shows that we saw in here were actual people. And so, do the actors put something in there? Do the directors, is this going to become a bargaining chip or a piece of the bargaining at every renegotiation moving forward for all these different guilds? I'll be very curious to see.
Honestly, I think they'd be dumb not to.
Agreed. Fully agreed.
I think they'd be really dumb not to. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, we will. We'll wait and see. I'll say this is I for the sake of the people who are working, I hope it's quick. I hope they come to a quick resolution. I also, from a personal standpoint, I would hate to see a bunch of stuff get pushed and delayed and projects getting booted down the line. So I hope from a professional and a personal level, both, that this gets resolved quickly. So
I agree.
We'll see.
Godspeed.
And now it's time for
Guess in 10 Marvel Edition. That's right, gang. If this is your first time here,
never stop entertaining me.
By the time we get an intro, we'll be done with this game. But that's not the point. Point being is that we're about to play this game, Guess in 10. How does it work? I'm glad you asked. So Justin and I each have 2 cards. And on these cards, they have a Marvel character on them. And our objective, is, if we're guessing, is to ask up to 10 questions, yes or no questions, to narrow down who we think they are. And then we get to 2 guesses to guess who they are. So Justin and I will go through and do this. If we tie, if we both get them, then we'll go down to the bonus questions, which are either sometimes super easy or just absolutely batshit insane. So they're great tiebreakers. So
they are.
That being said, Justin, do you want to guess first, or would you want me to guess first? What do you prefer?
I'm going to punt it to you because I think last time I went first, so I'm going to give you honors this time.
Sounds fair. Okay.
Oh, that means I have to.
That means you gotta.
You go first, and I'll wait.
Ask your question, Doug.
What do you want to know, man? Yeah. All right, cool. So, Doug, your buzzwords are military, fly.
Military, fly. Okay. Is this a man?
Yes.
Does this person wear a suit of armor?
Yes.
Is this person good friends with Tony Stark?
No.
Okay. I thought I had this right out of the gate, and I'm like, are this person from Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
I might have thrown you off with the suit of armor thing.
Okay. Military fly. Is this person a hero?
Yes.
Okay. Definitely probably should have gotten to that one sooner. Is this person human?
Yes.
Okay. Military fly. Is this person connected to the Avengers?
Yes.
Okay. Military fly.
And again, take the armor one with a grain of salt.
Okay. Associated with the Avengers. Military fly.
I truly thought you were going to get this in 2 guesses. Like,
I'm gonna throw out one of my guesses. Is it War Machine?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You said that like, no, you're an idiot.
No, I was thinking, I'm like, that's it. Nope. I was more concerned about my fingers.
Okay.
I don't want to have AI fingers, Doug.
Hey, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So now, see, War Machine was really
you
stuck.
The Tony Stark thing, and that's
I know. For some reason I couldn't let it go. That's the problem with this game. This game it just gets stuck in your head. I'm like, I know what this is, even though all the answers are saying, nah, it's not. I'm stumped. Military fly.
Associated with the Avengers. It's a hero.
Man.
It's a tough one. I didn't think you were going to have this much trouble with it. I'm actually surprised. The next one I think you'll get really easy.
Are they a part of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No. I'm trying. I don't believe they are. I'm 99% sure they're not affiliated with S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm honestly stumped on this one.
I mean, it's not. They're not like. They don't say, "Hi, I'm so and so with S.H.I.E.L.D." Like they're not like directly affiliated with S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's not like Nick Fury being like, "Yeah, they're with S.H.I.E.L.D." sort of situation.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was asking.
They may have worked with, but not. Yeah,
but they're not a part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Military fly. This is really stumping me because it's not Black Widow. It's not Captain America. Have we done Iron Man yet?
I like where your head's at. I like where you're going.
It's not Thor. It's not Hulk. I mean, those are the Avengers.
Or is that all of the Avengers? Because those are the original Avengers.
Yeah,
but
those are the ones I'm stuck on right now.
Right.
I don't think it's Ant-Man. Because he's not military.
Right. And he doesn't fly.
I mean, he can fly.
Well, that's true.
With ants.
He's friends with flies.
Yeah. With the other people associated with the Avengers that are heroes and dudes.
For those listening and not watching this, like Doug's he's in full analyze mode right now.
Man, it was War Machine for me. I was like, that's who this is. And now I'm like, I don't know. Like it's fly and military. Oh man. I feel like
you're going to kick yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm in my head.
Yeah.
Right now.
I feel like this doesn't happen. Don't look at chat, by the way. Do not look at chat.
I'm not.
Seth calling shit out.
Fly. Military.
See, I don't feel bad because one of the times we were playing, I felt like I was like, oh man, I am taking too long to figure this out. I felt like I needed to revoke my nerd card, but I'm feeling all right now. I'm this because it does again for those who think that this is this easy. You know, if you're on the sidelines, but when you're in the hot seat, your brain just fucking.
I'll be honest with you. When you're like, "Do you want to guess first?" I'm gonna kick it over to you. I'm like, "Fuck, I don't want to go first." You know.
Your brain it's different when you're in the hot seat.
This is a dumb question. I don't think it's right, but I'm gonna ask you. Do they have a metal arm?
No.
I know that's
again a fair question.
That's a complicated one too because are they a hero technically now?
Now
but they weren't. Oh shit!
Ow!
Are they black?
Yeah.
Is it Falcon?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Winter Soldier actually got me there.
I was gonna say you were like Cap, then you were the Winter Soldier. I'm like it revolves around those two people.
Oh man.
Yeah. Whew. So in this, he wears a high-tech winged harness, but like it is armor. Like he's used it as
that's
armor.
Fair.
And I was
get it.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's one of those tough questions. Again, my thing was like, does he wear basically an Iron Man suit? And
when you
like,
said that, I was like, oh, he's thinking War Machine. And I was like,
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, there you go. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. I got there. Woo.
Okay.
All right, Doug. Let me hear it.
All right. Number one or number two?
I'm gonna block the chat so I can't see anything. Okay. Number two.
All right, number two. Here we go. Your buzzwords are fast and fly.
Oh, it's the Flash. Next. Wait, what's the game? I don't. All right, fast and fly. Fast and fly. Superman.
I'm sorry, you have failed this round.
I failed this round. It's your two guesses, Strandlin. Okay. Is this a hero?
Yes.
Is this a male?
No.
Okay. Is this Captain Marvel?
Oh wow, going right out the gate. No.
Damn. Okay.
Wow, that was some bold.
I was like, if I get this right, it's gonna be fucking impressive.
Gonna be huge.
Gonna be huge. Okay. Just fucked myself. All right. All right. So hero, female, fly and fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this person part of the Avengers?
No.
Okay. Does this person wear a suit?
Yes.
Okay. Is this person part of the Ant-Man universe?
Yes.
Is this person have a familial connection with Hank Pym?
Yes.
Gotcha. Is this the Wasp?
Yes. Nice job, man. You got right there. Nice job. Well done. Well done. Would you like to go for the bonus?
No, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you. I didn't even ask if you wanted to go for the bonus.
I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I don't know, man. After everything I went through, I just can't. This game psychs me out so much.
I'm gassed. I can't.
I'm like, I don't know, man. All right.
And I apologize. I didn't ask you one or two. So
That's okay.
I took that choice.
That was my choice to do that.
All right. So your buzzwords for your second person is fighter, villain.
Okay. Fighter.
The first question should be, are they a hero?
Yeah. Is this a man?
Fighter, villain. Yes.
Okay. Is this person human?
Yes.
The long pause there. Human.
Confident in that answer.
Has this person fought the Avengers? Was that a bad question for you?
I mean, here's the thing, Doug. I'm almost 100% positive that every villain at some point has fought the Avengers
in the MCU.
In the MCU,
Thank you for allowing me to clarify that.
I was I mean, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about here? You know,
what are we talking about here? Have they fought the Avengers? No, they have not.
They've not fought anyone from the Avengers in the MCU.
They have fought someone from the Avengers. Yes.
Okay, I will take that as an additional question because I clarified. So that'll be 4.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm like they haven't gone up against like Team Avengers, you know. But
I'm in my head again about what I think this is, and I need to get this resolved, and then hopefully I can recover. Fighter, villain, has fought someone from the Avengers. I got to do it just so I can clear my head. Did this person fight Black Widow in the Black Widow movie?
Yes.
Is this Taskmaster?
Bingo!
Ask me how I know that you haven't seen the Black Widow movie.
I've seen it.
Have you?
I have.
Is Taskmaster a man in that movie?
Anthony Tony Masters?
In the MCU, they are not a man. They are a woman.
Yeah, but did we say we never said the MC? We said what's. Remember,
No, I know,
early on
I
we
know.
said what's on the cards.
I know, but that could be a situation where you're gonna be like, yes, with an asterisk. You know what I mean? Like,
Fine.
Fine. I haven't seen Black Widow. You're right. You caught me.
You got me. No, that's a fair point. The human thing, because again, looking at the drawing on here,
Does not look human.
it looks like a straight up like necromancer skeleton.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I thought they were human, and yeah. But then I'm like, no, the name. He's got a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
That's also a fair point. I mean, in the MCU, yes.
Yeah, and I should have clarified that. So actually, I shouldn't have. I wouldn't have been like, "Is this a man in the MCU?"
I would have been. Well, you and I have to get so hyper specific with each other now.
We do. It's so funny.
So I guess that's moving forward. We do need to figure out: are we doing? Is it based on the cards, or do we need to say asterisks?
I think based on the most well-known version of this, I think it's worthwhile to say like asterisks, like Taskmaster. I mean, I would argue until the Black Widow movie, like the general masses probably didn't know who they were.
Sure.
I think obviously hardcore folks knew I didn't know who Taskmaster was until the Black Widow movie. So I was like,
I guess, in something like that, what we could say is on the card, yes. In the MCU, no.
I think that's fair.
Maybe we could, and we can differentiate in those regards.
I think that's fair. I think that makes sense. That's good.
Hey, you got it.
You got it.
You got it, guy.
Speaking of you got it, here you go. You ready?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Here we go. Fighter, blue.
The Tick? Fighter and blue.
He's not a fighter.
Fighter and blue. Blue. Wow, that threw me off. Blue. Okay, is this a hero? With an asterisk?
It's complicated would be my answer for that.
All right. It's complicated. Okay, I'll accept that. It's like a Facebook relationship status.
Yes.
Okay. Is this a man?
For the record, that's what Natalie goes, is Loki a bad guy? I'm like, it's complicated.
Complicated. What do you think?
Yeah. Depends on which movie you're watching.
Let's talk about morality for a second.
Yeah, right.
All right. Is this a man?
Mm-mm.
No. Fighter, blue. It's complicated. Female. Does this person appear in the MCU?
Yes.
Oh, is this person one of the daughters of Thanos?
Yes.
Is this Nebula?
Yes.
Boom!
For a second, I was like, no, it's Gamora. I'm like, that's not Gamora, it's Nebula. Dude, the clues on this one would not help you at all. No. I'm so glad we didn't have clues. All right.
What are the clues on that one?
I was a member of the Graces, a group of female warriors.
Oh, boy. Nope.
I am from the eternal colony of Titan.
I mean, Titan would have like given me Thanos, but I mean, that's a stretch.
I once wielded the power of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Nope. Oh yeah, that would have been.
Those are awful.
Yeah. Taskmasters would have immediately, and Falcon, both of them would have immediately given you, like Falcon's was, I have also taken on the mantle of Captain America.
Got it.
I have mechanical wings and can communicate telepathically with birds. What? Sorry, I didn't read the end of that one. Can you do that?
I guess in the comics he can.
My harness can detach and operate autonomously in Red Wing mode.
I lay eggs.
Yeah. I like seed.
Yeah.
All right, so we both got both.
Yeah.
So we have to do.
Gotta choose. Yeah. So you just went. So I will go. I get to choose between Falcon and Taskmaster. I feel more comfortable with Falcon, so I'm going to start with Falcon.
Okay. What is Falcon's real name?
I was like, Anthony Mackie. That's not his real name. That's the actor's name. Fuck. It's I feel like this one's there.
While I know it, if I was in the hot seat, my mind would be blank right now.
Sam Wilson?
You got it. It's Samuel. It's Samuel Wilson, but I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Because I'm a nice guy.
I'm sitting there going, I'm like, Cap says his name. He's like, Sam. I'm like, got it. Nice. All right. What do you want? Right. Wasp or Nebula?
Oh, no. I have to assume Nebula's question is going to be as arbitrary, or not arbitrary, but is like out there as her clues are. But I feel like I know less about Wasp. I'm going to go Nebula. Fuck it. We're going to go Nebula.
Here we go.
That's good. Oh boy.
What is Nebula's sister's name?
Yay, Gamora.
I was like, after all that horse shit, at least you get that one. So there you go. Ta-da. Oh, you're like, oh, thank God. Cool. That's how these bonus questions work, baby. Right. They're like,
you don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So then you get Taskmasters?
Give me Taskmaster.
Okay. What? And this sucks. What is Taskmaster's real name? I said it.
Yeah. Anthony Starr.
Incorrect.
Yeah, I figured. I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a chance to gain a half a point on this. His last name is related to his villain name.
Meatball.
Yes. I don't understand it, but yes.
Anthony Meatball.
Anthony Meatball Scaraponi.
I thought you were saying his name is related to like his first name's heritage. I was like, Meatball.
No, to his villain name. To his character name.
Mascarpone. Anthony, Master of Tasks.
Anthony Masters.
Cool.
Yeah. Master of Tasks. All right, give me Wasps. Let's see what we got here.
But for the record, I've already lost, so this one's you win. What does Wasp use to communicate with? What?
Because if I don't get this, we tie.
I guess. Sure.
Right?
What does Wasp use to communicate with and control insects?
Isn't it like an earpiece?
Technically, no.
No? Okay.
According to this. I would accept that from the MCU, but...
Oh, got it. Okay. What is it? I give up.
Her retractable antenna.
Boo. Wait. Where's my booze?
Wait.
No.
Wait. Hold on. Where's my
So technically we tied. I mean,
whatever. All right, so we get to kiss next time we see each other. That's what happens. Yay! On the laughs.
On the laughs. Awesome.
Woo! Well, that was something.
Holy shit balls.
Justin, I love Seth saying, "Ain't nobody calling him Samuel." Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
Oh boy, I've had this one on here for a while on my recommendation notes. But I have. There's so many other things that have come up that I'm watching now that this has fallen way by the wayside. But up to the point where I left it, I was very much enjoying His Dark Materials on HBO Max. It's cool, futuristic but retro fantasy. It's kind of this weird in between. It's got some of my favorite actors and it's got James Jesus Christ McAvoy. It's got Andrew Scott, who played the hot priest on Fleabag, and he's been just in a bunch of. He's absolutely amazing actor.
I believe it has a girl who plays X-23 from Logan as like the lead
absolutely
character, right?
It does. And I'm blanking on it. All I'm thinking is Bella Ramsey from Last of Us. Is
Anthony Meatball.
Yes, it's Anthony Meatball. I want to get her name right so I can. Daphne Keane. Yes. Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it. It's just a great show. So I would say check that out. It's finished its third season. Is there a season 4?
Nobody knows because there's a writer's
strike. No one knows. You know what? That's a good point. So take your time binging it because who knows if and when we'll get another one. But His Dark Materials on HBO. That's right. Max. Doug, what do you got?
I took Natalie to the theater this weekend to see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I recommend it. It is
really
very fun. It was one of the first times I think seeing a movie where I'm like, the plot extremely thin, and I'm okay with it. It's a very rare thing where that happens, where I'm like, this is just fun. It's just very enjoyable. There's a lot of fun Easter eggs for anyone who grew up playing Nintendo. It was so well done, and Natalie loved it. It was really cool. I thought it was it was nice to see a video game adaptation like something like Mario.
Yeah.
That just really, I think, leaned into what it was, and it was fun, and yeah, I thought it was great. It deserved the money that I got because it's a lot of nostalgia, and it's fun, and it's just, if you just take it at face value, you're not looking for anything super deep or powerful. It's very good. I highly recommend it. So
I love it.
I would say check it out when it comes out on streaming. You don't need to run to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
I wanted to take Natalie because I was eating dinner with Nellie the other night. She goes, "I'm so sad we missed the Mario movie." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She thought that those movies only come out for one day, like on their release day.
Oh, that's so funny.
She goes, "We missed it." I go, "Oh no, it's still out there." She goes, "But it already came out." I go, "Oh, if it's good, it will stay in theaters for a while." And that movie did very well, so it's definitely still out there. And she goes, "Oh, well, can we go see it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's so fun. It's one of those things, we've talked about this before, where like if you have never heard, if you don't have a concept of something, like, there was it's like when you hear things as a kid, you're just like, you hear the thing wrong and you're like, well, that's what this is, just this made up word. And then they're like, no, we can get into that later. I don't remember the specific example from my childhood, but I love the fact that she just thought it came out on one day. That's fucking amazing.
Also, decent amount of people at the theater for it being out for 2 weeks. So
how'd you feel about it? Going into a theater that was more packed.
It was mostly kids, so it was fine. Like
disease-ridden animals.
I saw, it was amazing to me the people that were wearing like Mario like swag when they went in.
Yeah.
Like there's a kid that had like a Mario Brothers hoodie on, and he was holding like a Bowser stuffed animal. And this kid was probably like 12 or 13. And I was like, you know what? Fucking dig that, man. That's cool.
Fucking A, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. So definitely check that one out.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's fucking great. I love it.
The thing is, like, it's becoming a dad-daughter thing where we go to the movies, and I'm here for it because I was like, told Jill, I'm like, hey, this movie's an hour and a half, okay? And with trailers and everything like that, it'll probably be like 2 hours. Take 2 hours to yourself, okay? I'm taking the kid. We're going We're going to the theater. So there you go. And we had a blast. So it's really good.
It warms my heart that you have found like a thing that is so near and dear to you that you guys can share together. That is fucking amazing. I love it.
I want to say this before we go. Tonight, Natalie always gets confused what I'm doing because she's like, because you and I met last night in a production meeting. She goes, so you guys did your podcast last night? I'm like, no, last night was like planning for the podcast. Tonight is when we talk. I go, well, Friday nights are when I do video games. And she goes, and Saturday nights for D&D? I'm like, you got it, kid. And, and Jill says, yeah, Friday nights he does, video games for the podcast. And Natalie goes, well, Mom, Dad's a gamer, so he should be playing games. And I was like,
she gets it.
Kid fucking gets it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kid fucking gets it. I'm here for it. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, so she's dope. And I also want to say this. We had a D&D session last Saturday. As soon as we were done, Natalie wanted to know everything that happened because she knows everything that's, may happen. And then she immediately asked me about Curse of Strahd, which is the other D&D campaign. And she immediately started asking me lore questions about that because I told her about it. And she's like, and she remembered things. She's like, so why did this happen? I'm like, oh my God, are we really going to get into this? Because it's also not a pleasant story. It's kind of dark.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, so that's, and she's like, so when, and she goes, when are you playing that? I go, oh, not for a little bit. She goes, oh, but I want to know who's going to die. I was like,
well, we keep that, that's house talk and there's public talk. Let's keep that
I was like, listen, also they very well could die. Who knows, Yeah. It's a dangerous campaign.
I love it. God, I love it.
Anyway, speaking of all that cool stuff, you guys, please check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. We live stream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. I also host a video game stream on Fridays at 8 p.m. Central. Last week we played Left 4 Dead 2. Had a really good time. It was so nice getting back into the swing of that game. It was super great. So, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out our Discord link in the description down below. Join our community, be part of the family. Check out Redbubble and Patreon for any sort of financial stuff you'd like to send our way. Redbubble for merch, patreon.com. Just to subscribe to us on there. It'd be great. And follow us on all social media at MindGap Podcast. And be sure to check out Justin as well.
On Instagram at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on any platform where you find and consume your favorite podcasts. We're there too. So go ahead and check us out on there. You can subscribe to us, rate us, review us, share us around. The big one for us is sharing because that's caring. And then 2east8th.com and 2east8th on all social medias, as well as loveandimprovfilm.com and Love and Improv Film on Instagram.
And as Moon Silhouette said in the chat right now, join the Discord and be a part of the farts. Be a part of the farts, y'all. You know you want to.
Hashtag be a part of the fart.
That's right. Join our family. Be a part of the fart. With that being said, I want to say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.